this is Regan, and I work with Digital Boutique Co. And today we are going to be talking about the importance of branding. So this is a really big topic. It can go a bunch of different ways, but we are going to go over advertising, the value, your strategy, logos, design, and trust. So all of the things that go into it. And this is going to be 8 reasons to take your brand seriously and 1 reason that your brand isn't important. So it's going to be kind of a bunch of different types of points, talking about the importance of your branding, but then also coming back to conclude 1 reason that your branding will not be important. So it's going to be really awesome. So today, I feel like most people in the world we live in today in 2021, people make branding so complicated, so confusing, and it's really not. At the core of branding, it is very simple. So it all comes down to a story or something that we do in our companies, in our personal life. It's the story that we're going to tell someone when we meet them. Like, for an example, hi, my name is Regan, and I am an employee at Digital Boutique Co. and I do XYZ. And so it's kind of like that moment where you're making your first impression on someone you're meeting for the first time. And it's really easy for us to think about this because in a physical aspect of meeting someone, whether it's you greeting them in your brick and mortar, them seeing your storefront for the first time, them seeing your products in your brick and mortar for the first time, or if it's just you casually introducing yourself while you're getting your nails done or at a coffee shop, you want to make the best impression that you can. So we're going to talk about brand identity, and it's something that's simple. It's a simple statement of just who you are and what you can do for someone when you find a way to sum up your company's entire promise of what it will be like to work with you. And it's in it for them, like what's in it for them, and a few short emotional words. And that's your brand. That is basically, in a nutshell, what your brand is. And it's really simple. And so, frankly, a lot of people have a hard time of doing those 2 things, talking about, the branding and kind of breaking it down, because a lot of companies can't interestingly tell you what they do and who they do it for and why they did it. They just can't, and it's crazy, but it's just like this big whirlpool of details begins to swirl, and it's kind of confusing when you look at someone's logo and you're like, I have no idea what you do. I do not know who you are. So we want to be able to paint a clear, direct photo of what your company does and what you stand for and what you are about. So even though branding seems simple and seems like something that you can do later when you have the time for it, or after you put the kids to bed, or after you do your workout, I want you to think hard about what you stand for in your business to gain by getting it right and doing it now. So a branding machine that is true and defined will carry your business to the next level. And that goes across the board on your social media, which we'll kind of, dive into that in just a little bit, but it impacts so much more than just your sales. If you have good branding, then that's going to reshape how you and your employees and your customers and your investors and everyone thinks about the company that you have. So a good branding is going to communicate a clear story. So companies with clear stories, great branding, they're going to be valued higher by customers and investors. So companies with clear stories have employees who understand what they do and they know why they do it. Companies with clear stories are able to move people's emotions, which is key to moving sales, obviously, because we all know how it feels to get hit with that Facebook ad over and over of that sweater that you really know you want, but you don't need it. But when you get hit with that, time and time again, and it's the branding, the ad, the copy, the photos, everything is on point, it moves your emotions and you want to purchase. So people want to work for companies who do great things, and great things are only great if they're understood and clearly just simple. So whenever you put all that together, you really have the potential, if you have great branding that's clear, to drive real money into your company And so there's a saying that, like, no one buys what they don't understand. And I just really think that's, can be the foundation of your branding. You want to make sure that you are communicating clearly to your audiences what you are saying that you stand for and what you are about. Why did you feel motivated and encouraged and inspired to open up your boutique? Why did you want to get into this? What motivated you? What makes you get up every morning and want to do the thing and do all of the crazy tasks and do the live videos? Like, what is your passion and why are you doing it? And communicate that clearly to your audience. So I'm going to just throw out just some really simple 3 questions just to ask yourself. Maybe you have a marketing team, maybe you have a core group of girls that are helping you start your boutique, or maybe you have been in this thing for 10 years and you need to refocus and readjust, who you are and what your brand is. So this is 3 questions just to get straight right before you start branding or rebranding your company. So the first thing is we're going to talk about the importance of branding. We need to make sure we know what it is and what it is not. A company's brand is not just a logo. So I think a lot of people, and I'm actually talking about myself, I actually get really caught up in the, like, oh my goodness, what's the logo going to be? Like, because the logo is like what you're going to put on, all kinds of cards and flyers and your hang tags, and it's going to be outside of your brick and mortar on a huge billboard or a big signage, and it's just on all the things, and so it's a part of it. But think only of your logo as a signature. It's a shorthand symbol or device that you burn into the hides of your customers' hearts. So, I mean, obviously, we're not going to actually do that. But, talking about this just kind of makes me think that, like, it is like the final thing. Like, you're just your logo is going to be you just signing off on it. Like, your signature on all your things of your brand. The first and only rule about branding is that it has to be authentic. So no one likes to be hit with the Facebook ads that are ridiculous of Amazon things. Like, I know I've got hit with an ad once of, like, this really, like, big blanket. I think it, like, advertised that it was, like, for your king size bed or queen size bed. And it was basically like a knockoff Barefoot Dreams blanket. And I, like, clicked on the ad and I was like, oh my gosh, like, $16. That's crazy. Went to the reviews, scrolled all the way down, and people were, like, posting photos that it was basically like a throw for, like, your baby, like, and it was almost, like, not even big enough for that, and it was so thin that you could see through it. So, advertising the quality of a Barefoot Dreams blanket and then giving me the quality of something from, like, the Dollar General is, like, a very terrible experience waiting for that, like, 1-star review. So you definitely don't want to be non-authentic. So don't try to, like, make yourself this bougie high-end company if you know that you're not going to be providing that quality of things to your customers. So anyway, that's the first thing. The first actual point of the 3 questions is going to be, what is your company's vision? And where are we going to be in the next 5, 10, 15, even 30 years down from the road? And sometimes that feels like a company's vision is just a finish line that is always just over, that next season that we're going to go through. And we all know that there's really no finish line in any type of clothing industry. So we all crave knowing where we're going, what we're reaching for, what we're wanting to accomplish. And that's the vision that you're going to give your team. And so we just want Digital Boutique Co. We here just want you to know that as a business owner, a boutique owner, a leader, you want to make sure you lead your entire team into a place of what is our vision and where are we going. So number 2, so the second question, you want to ask your rebranding team, or maybe just your branding team alone or yourself. is ask yourself the question that is really hard to ask yourself, but it is, what do we stand for? What are our values, and why do we do what we do? So that's kind of what I talked about a little bit earlier. That was pretty much just like, why do you do what you do? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you deal with all the crazy things? Why do you work, 10-hour, 12-hour days and have a side hustle on the side just to be able to support your boutique? Tell us, write it down, make sure that you understand that and that you are passionate about why you stand for what you stand for. So there's a reason that vision, mission, and values are often linked together, and one leads us to the other. So while y'all are thinking through and just articulating your vision, maybe we want to put what kinds of values you need to live by to achieve it. What kind of workplace and what kind of culture do you want your employees to be operating in? So this why will become really, really crucial and important for your brand. And so we'll discuss that later in some of the other steps. So what do your customers say that sets you apart? So that's the last question. So you'll want to make sure you write those down. So the first one's, where's your company's vision? Where are you going to be going in the next 5, 10 to 30 years? And then what do you stand for? What's your values? Why do you do what you do? And then like I said, the last one is, what do our customers say that sets you apart? Now this one can be it can sting a little bit. A lot of people that I have talked to boutique wise, they have their loyal group of people that they purchase every single live. Like, they don't know what they're going to purchase, but they're going to purchase because they want to support you, because they're bought into your vision and they love you. They love your brand. They love your clothes and the quality. And then you're going to have some people that they have a bad experience and they've messaged you on Facebook and you haven't responded, and they got the wrong item in their, what they've ordered, and they just have had terrible experiences. Some of that is on you. Some of that might be on them. But if you want to tell a compelling story about your brand, first you have to know why you're winning today and probably why you aren't. But that probably would be just another episode. But you want to make sure to talk to your customers and learn what they think that you're doing well and why they do business with you. Why do they choose you over Amazon? Why do they choose you instead of going to the mall? And if you can, speak with recent customers where the decision to buy is still fresh in their mind. So that whole process of, how easy was it to check out on our app? Or, was it easy? Did it make it more difficult? Did it make you have more peace of mind just to come into the store? And let one inform the other. So you're going to want to hear from just a bunch of different people, and you could even give out some promos if they would give their feedback or any type of thing like that. So that is the 3 questions you're going to want to ask yourself. Okay, so these are going to be the reasons, and I'm going to just kind of talk about these briefly because there are 8 of them, so there's a lot. But we're going to talk about 8 reasons to take your branding seriously. And then at the end, we're going to talk about that one reason that your branding isn't important. So make sure to just stay on this YouTube video for that. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're getting into the good stuff. Branding is important, and how to brand your business is important. So the number one thing is, your brand is going to represent your promise to your customers and, most importantly, to yourself. So the very first reason branding is important is probably the most important reason, because it's very it's very personable, and it makes a promise to your customers. A good brand is always going to tell the customers that what they should expect and hold you to when they work with you. So if you are going to do an event at someone's, another business they have, if you're a small boutique and you need to do pop-up shops or whatever, you want to make sure that you are really just having that good relationship with the other vendors. Maybe it's home store furnishes or coffee shops or whatever that is. But you want to make sure that you have that great relationship and that foundation there. And so you want to make sure that if you build a brand around being, something that you're not, then that's going to be very obvious to your customers at some point. And that's going to be very loud and clear in your sales and the declining revenue, that you're not living up to your promise. And so if you deliver on that brand experience, you're going to reap the rewards. And so very often, I feel like more so than not, I can count companies that will, come to us, some boutiques that come to us, and, they always say that their greatest source of business is word of mouth. And that's the benefit of being aligned with your brand, because what they're saying is really, we make a promise, like what people are really feeling like when they buy from you and they're encouraging people to go shop with you is, they're pretty much spreading the word that y'all make a promise to your customers and you deliver and you come through and it's fulfilled and they have such a strong experience and they want to share it with others. So the second thing is brand identity clarifies and forces focus. So the second reason why it's hard to overstate the importance of branding was already touched on just a little bit in that first point. Once you tell someone who you are and who you've told them who you are, and when it comes to positioning your company to win, that is often much more important. But it does align with who you are and what you promise your customers what they can expect from you. So anything that doesn't line up to a T with that can safely just be ignored. It doesn't matter how great it may sound if it's not actually great, if you can't stay on target. And that's really, really good. Just a piece of advice overall. Now, number 3 is just to move past the mundane business transactions. And I know that a lot of people are going to really relate to this point. So whenever you engage with a company, and it's really well branded, there's just a feeling that comes over you, or at least me. Like if I'm walking into a boutique, very good curb appeal, very nice, like smell when I walk in the door, everything's organized, they have people greeting me, they put a dressing room together for me, and I have questions about the clothes, and they help me maybe pull some items that I didn't even really think that I would like, but they looked great, and I went and checked out, and it was all smooth and flawless, and everything clicks. So for that experience, for customers, it's going to be everything from the packaging to the checkout process to the in-store signage or the online experience. So that is another thing that we're probably going to touch on here. Maybe this next YouTube video will be just me walking through how this is such a similar thing to your online presence. So everything I'm talking about today will apply to you on your online presence, your Facebook, your Instagram, all of your social media platforms, your website. It is the signage. It is the front door and the space and the whole brick and mortar inside experience that your customers will get in person. That is moved and translated online. So if you have an online presence and it's not all together, and your Facebook page is completely different branding than your website, and your website has stock photos and it's not personable, and you're not offering discount codes if they want to give you their email address, all the things. So you just want to make sure that you're giving that same experience to your online customers that can't, unfortunately, shop with you in person, whether that's because of distance or just because of comfort. But you want to make sure that you're giving them that same experience. So number 4 is a powerful brand strategy is built on emotion. So you're probably saying, okay, great, I believe you, but how do I create a strong story? And that is emotions. So I don't care what you're selling. It could be the most complex thing that hits the market in like 2 or 3 or 4 decades from now. And if you want to sell that, you're going to have to be passionate about it. And they have to feel that you love it, and you have to know that you love it. You can't sell anything that you don't really love or you're not passionate about. So modern behavior science has made it super clear that as humans, we are emotional. All of us, even men, we all want to be rational, especially men. And we can create pros and cons in a list all day long. We'll call referrals. We'll talk to colleagues. We may have, used a service before, but at the end of the day, your decision was just kind of like, I don't know why I made that decision, but an emotion is, you have around that decision is ultimately going to influence it. So that is super important. So just make sure that you are buying things that you love, that you can genuinely suggest to people that you love, because if not, they're going to see that. And that might be one of those items that you've got to bring out for like a 4th of July weekend sale under a tent and just knock out all the products for a really low deal and lose money on them. So that is that. Number 5 is a well-defined brand will guide in advertising and marketing. And this is huge because we already started talking about it. So let's move on to how a strong brand can make your advertising more effective or efficient. So once you know what kind of company you are and you're not going to be, and you have that story and targeted what emotions your customers should feel when working with you or purchasing from you. Okay, so let's go over point 6. It's a strong brand engages and aligns employees. So speaking of bleeding, stop losing talented employees. So don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that a strong brand is going to fix all your personal issues. You still have real life challenges like pay and benefits and work-life balance and family time and everything else that goes into attracting and keeping that. But however, our magic sauce is that we approach every project from a single goal. It's what we call the customer experience ecosystem. So when you have a well-defined brand and then a clear internal communication strategy. So people feel better about working for you. And when they feel better for working for you, then they're going to stay longer, move, and think a little bit faster and don't get distracted by nonsense as easily. So number 7 is a compelling brand attracts top talent. So closely connected to that last point, yet different, is the engaging current employees attracting new talent. So there are companies who come to us saying they will post open jobs and receive 0 applicants. And so some boutiques might try to hire for a long time and just can't get anyone, or maybe it's the opposite. And so today's job market is just so competitive that labor pool is so tapped out that companies are taking orders for which they have absolutely no people in-house to fill. That leads to those who do work, they're having to pick up extra shifts, work mandatory overtime, and just generally burn out much faster because there's a lot more open shifts. Yet there are companies, even in today's labor, who have no problems whatsoever filling positions. Every market and industry has them. So they're going to be like the sexy companies of your type of niche. So that might be like some big competitors that in your boutique niche, or maybe some big box stores. And so you want to make sure that people are attracted to your brand and your company, because if they're attracted to your company and they're attracted to you and they're attracted to your vision and they're bought into that, they're going to want to stay longer, work harder, be better, and be the best that they can be because they know how competitive it is. So the last point is a strong brand is going to build financial value to your company. And at the end of the day, all of this branding stuff just really comes down to the financial value of it. So how is your sales? Like how do they look? What's your growth been like in your Facebook groups, in your online sales or your app downloads, breaking into the new markets or creating new markets from scratch? So what customers, they know who they are and what they do. So all of it happens when a company, whether new or established, has a brand story. And those are the people that know who they are and what they do, and then what customers get from working from them, and what kind of satisfaction the employees get for working for them. All of that kind of stuff matters. So if reason 1 through 7 weren't strong enough, then this last point, number 8, is going to have to be the best one, because ultimately, you're going to have to make sure this is building financial value to your company. So this is the last point of this YouTube video, talking about the importance of branding, 8 reasons why branding is important, and 1 reason your brand isn't important. So this last point is the 1 reason that your brand is not important. And so we've spent a lot of time talking today about just why branding is important in general and answering those questions like, what is brand strategy? But we can't stop there because there's only one very important reason why branding isn't important. A promise is only good if it's kept, and that is money. A promise is only as good as the actions that support it. So if you don't, follow through how you'll live your brand and make it real, and all the pretty words and pictures, they're just not going to make a difference. So remember way back at the beginning whenever we were talking about how important it is to be authentic. This is it. This is where you make sure that happens. Only put into your brand definition those things that you know you will achieve with each and every customer, and make sure that it's all touch points throughout your whole business. So when they walk in, or when they go on your website, when they check out, when they, if they get promo codes or welcome emails with discounts for their birthday, or just try to give them the most incredible experience, whether online or in store, every single time. And you're gonna be fine. And post your life. Post your everyday freaking hardcore, this is reality life on your social media, on your Instagram stories, on your TikTok, on your Facebook. Be real. Post in your group. Ask questions that people don't ask, and build a community, and make sure that people know who you are, what you're passionate about, why you do what you do, and what matters most to you. And if you have a vision that's strong like that, people are going to follow you. People are going to want to buy from you and purchase and support you. So make sure if you don't know where to start and you need to rebrand, it's not too late. You can definitely make the most of your boutique at this point in your career. And if you're just starting out, then take all of this so seriously, soak it in, take notes, replay this as many times as you need to, and just really focus in on what is important about branding and what's not, because there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of extra things that you can really just put your mind to and work on that doesn't even matter when it comes to branding. So I really hope that this was super just encouraging and informative. And so anyway, I just am so thankful for each and every one of you guys that are tuning in and looking at our YouTube channel, listening to our YouTube channel, and subscribing. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so. Follow us. We're Digital Boutique Co. We are a digital marketing agency for boutiques that specializes in Facebook and Instagram ads, and we will be currently rolling out a new service super, super soon. Check out our socials for some really awesome holiday packages that we have. We have one holiday package right now that is a 3-month commitment to get you through all of the holidays. So it's not a long-term commitment. It is just long enough to make you some holiday sales. So check that out on our Instagram. It's at Digital Boutique Co. is our Instagram handle, and Digital Boutique Co. on Facebook. So again, thank you so much for watching. My name's Regan, and I am going to see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.